Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Good to be here today. We have a very interesting call in front of us, and I'm looking forward to it. For those of you who are new to me, this is my card in the chat, and you can follow me to stay connected and to be notified when there's more calls like this one. My internet is very, very slow. Hello, Sweep. Where are you joining from? Let me know. I always like learning where people are joining from, connecting with people from different places, different countries. I originally myself, I'm from Bulgaria. It's a small country in Eastern Europe. I grew up there, and then I moved to United States, and I have been in Seattle area for over 22 years now. Currently, I'm in Canada. Asheville, North Carolina. Great. Welcome. Good to have you here today. Let me know where you're joining from. Hello, Jill. Good to see you again. Awesome. All right. There's a little bit of lag in my internet connection, as I see, but hopefully everything will work fine. If there's any issues, just let me know and I'll try to fix it. Let me introduce myself. I'm Diana Oskov, a rapid transformational therapist, a life coach, and clinical hypnotherapist. I specialize in generational cycles, and more specifically, I work with all those stuck feelings and emotions that often affect our bodies and mind and prevent us from showing up in life the way how we like to be. Today's call is 1 hour, and I'm thinking to split this in half. And the first half I'm gonna be sharing with you a specific case that I worked on. And then for the second part, we're gonna do a visualization. And in today's visualizations, we're gonna address the needs of people pleasing and this battle between emotions and logic. So it's supposed to be very interesting visualization and powerful as well. So stay tuned, and you don't have to do anything, just simply enjoy the ride. If you'd like to participate in the conversation, feel free to use the chat. I always love when those calls are interactive and when all of you participate one way or another. All right, so we have been covering and talking about specific cases about generational cycles. And those cases all have been coming from my practice based on what I have worked on with. And today I have a very specific case that I have that the client allowed me to use in order to just bring more awareness about this one. So today we're going to be looking into Marcus' story. And Marcus came to me with people pleasing issues, and mainly he had no boundaries. So Marcus was 41 when we started working. He was chronic people pleaser and unable to say no to anybody. It was very interesting to learn more about his pattern. And as I was learning, he was learning as well, and discovering all of this, the different struggles that he had been through. Marcus was simply exhausted. Through his entire life, as long as he can remember, he was saying yes to everybody except himself. And he always will take extra work or extra projects at work. Always will be present when friends requested his help. Always will be present when family demands and different tasks. And he was always he was the good the to go person for everybody. They know that they can count on him, and everybody did take advantage of this. Um, and he just was this constant people pleaser in life that was always showing out for other people, but it was very hard to show up for himself. And one thing that he said, I know that I have been doing this to myself. He said, but saying no to anybody feels impossible. It's like I felt like if I say no, I'm being a bad person. And this is something very common, very often seen in my practice, that those people, they're so kind that they'll always put anybody else um, compared to where they are in this situation. And in many cases they forget to take care of themselves. How did you know Marcus? Marcus came to my practice of help. He had some issues in his marriage, and he came to me because he understood that he was people pleasing, but he didn't know how to prevent this, how to stop it, how to control it even. So Marcus came to me, and we started working. We worked for 12 weeks, and the results were coming simultaneously with every session. It was happening, like the magic was unveiling itself. So when Marcus came, as I said, his marriage was suffering. His health also was declining, and his burnout was just to the point that he cannot take anymore. And that's very common situation. I went through something like this myself too. It's like I'm the carrier type. I like to care for people, but sometimes when you care too much for others and you don't care enough, you don't have enough care for yourself, your body start to suffer, start to knocking on the door and asking for help. So the same was happening with me. And another way to visualize this, because in my work the imagination is extremely powerful, is that you cannot just breathe. When you breathe, you have to breathe out and breathe in. You can't just breathe out. You can't just give all the time. You have to also breathe in order to give. So that's the constant reminder that many of us needs every once in a while, that we just need to breathe. And if we're the caregiver there's nothing wrong with that. We just need to remember to give, but also to receive. I reduced it. I thought I stopped people pleasing, and I had an instance this week where I did. I wanted to get back on track. I got restful and angry. Yes, and it's normal, Jill. It's not. It's hard to navigate, and especially around the holidays, it's even harder because you get uh, with people with your family and friends, and those people remind you of this other version of you that when you were just giving, and they expect to receive from you. So it's very hard to navigate that situation where it's like the boundaries need to be in place, and then you have to remind yourself constantly that you have to breathe. So that's one of the many things that, and it's sometimes I do it with myself. I just take a moment and just remind myself that I need to breathe. I'm happy to give, but I also have to receive. You can just breathe out. So in the case with Marcus, we start. So in my work, how actually this work is, in my work, work in the subconscious level, we go and address scenes where this problem is coming from. And the moment the mind release the scenes and the moments where this belief has been formed, it's much easier to overcome and rewrite the script in a way. Together with that, I also equip my clients with different tools that are very, very important in order to navigate their lives for the future. Because the purpose here is not to come and stay in therapy for a long time. The purpose here is to come, gain awareness, upgrade your script in your head, and then have the tools that you need in order to keep on going. So in his case, there were a couple of principles that were at play. The first one was that saying no, that every time when he wants to say no versus saying no that makes me feel selfish. So it's the logic and the logic mind and the subconscious mind. It's the what is logical and what is the feeling attached to that logic. The guilt of saying no was more powerful than the logic in his case. And he was constantly telling himself that he need to set boundaries. But those boundaries, the idea to set boundaries, it's easier said than done. Because in order to set boundaries, you have to be able to say no. And it's very hard when everyone around you always have heard you say yes and always agree with them. Hearing no for first time, it's quite painful. Another principle that was in his case was the belief that he was worth of being useful. This is how he received what the love that he received was by delivering himself. In this come from the point that in his childhood he learned that love is conditional. In order to be accepted, you have to serve everybody else around you. And for him, saying no, it was equal to pain. And that pain usually triggers guilt and fear and rejections. And when you say yes, this immediate pleasure of relief and approval comes into your body and it feels much better. So in the long term, the exhaustion was very draining for him, and he have hard time navigating all of this, as you can all imagine. Let me see the chat. I wanna share this case with you, but at the same time, I really wanna stay connected. I want to contact my whole family so it will be better. I went no contact with my whole family so it will be better. My first holiday without any of them was yesterday. It was the best holiday ever. Good, Jill. Good. Yeah, as I like to say, you do you. You are the one that knows your situation better. So do whatever it's good for you. But at the same time, know that we are social creatures and we need to have people around us. And while sometimes it does feel better to just be by yourself and ignore all the struggles that you have been throughout the years, sometimes it's important to reflect on that and see what it gives you, and if whatever you have received, it's satisfying for you. And it sounds like it has been for you. So good for you. Good for you. And it requires strength. It requires strength to make a decision like this, especially with the whole family. So good for you. All right. So let's go back to Marcus' case. In the process of the work, the first thing that we have done is we identify where this is coming from. And in his case, he was the oldest child in his family. There were 4 kids, a very chaotic family. Mother has some psychological issues and it wasn't quite present all the time. The dad has been workaholic, trying to provide. And the time that he has been at home, unfortunately, it was bringing more chaos than the parent who all the kids needed to be there. So very quickly and easily, Marcus learned that his job was to make everyone else's okay and just put all of his needs on the back burner. What is happening in many situations like this is the kid grow up fast and they become the parent in the household. This is exactly what happened with Marcus very early on. And he started being the caregiver for his mother and also for his 3 siblings, which is very detrimental because in this situation, he simply did not have any childhood because he has to be the adult very early on. And this is very another very often seen pattern of becoming adult when the parents are emotionally or physically unpresent. Then one of the childs step up, usually the oldest child step up and become the parent. And it's sad because they have been stripped from their childhood and they kind of been robbed and not allowed to have this experience. So that was the first thing. And here is another important part is that very early on he understand that his needs doesn't matter. So the people pleasing, it's already in full swing. He's always there for everyone else, but what he needs, it doesn't really matter because he needs to be there for others. So we work on this conflict of beliefs, and we address that in a session. It was a beautiful session. He couldn't affirm any boundaries at the beginning, and that's absolutely normal. Because when you believe that, he has also the belief that boundaries are hard. It's very hard to set boundaries when you believe that your needs don't matter and you have to serve others. So that was part of the first few things that we start working on. And he also started to disassociate himself with that belief that his needs doesn't matter. The moment he started doing this, the belief of the boundaries start to surface more strongly, and the need of this boundaries start to surface. He started to practice saying no, because I'm a huge believer that a no, it's a full sentence, and many times we don't need to explain why. It's simply enough to say no. He started practicing saying no in a very simple situation where he was gaining more awareness of his body's reaction and the fulfillment that he started to have of building his own boundaries. And at the same time, it's all about building, in a way, tolerance for that guilt that has been installed in him very, very early on. So that was beautiful as well. So he has learned through the years, from very early beginning, that saying yes was the way to go. But now we're flipping the script. He realized that this saying yes always was actually harmful and painful for him, and was preventing him from showing up in life in the way how he's supposed to show up in life, with all his power. So every time he learned that every time when he says yes, it doesn't necessarily mean no. Actually, every time when he says yes to somebody, it means he is saying no to himself. So also becoming aware of those patterns, it's much easier to stay on track and to take care of yourself, and just be vigilant with what is happening in your body first, and then for everybody else. All right. What happened into the session, the main session, the RTT session? In my practice, I use rapid transformational therapy. It's very powerful, goes straight to the root cause of the issue, and it's very easy to release the idea, the belief, the whatever is attached to that root cause. And once we release the root cause, the main idea, the main belief is just shattered. And in his case was the belief that he is not worthy. His needs doesn't matter, and just if he say yes, if he say no, that he felt useless. So installing a very strong belief, flipping that belief and installing a new one that where he feels valuable, and simply because he's existing, just because simply because he is him. He understood that he took care of his siblings and his parents as an adult, and he understood that he has become an adult very early on. So all of this was very, very beautiful evolution in his case. Also, another thing that I do in my work is I combine the rapid transformational therapy, which work on subconscious level, with the life coaching, which work on conscious level. And those two together combined, they are very powerful because once we address the feelings and allow those feelings to be felt and understand what those feelings do with us, what kind of beliefs they provide, then it's much easier logically to kind of bring the same level up and operate from this new surface. So 3 months into the work with Marcus, he was able to say no to work projects. He felt much better with friends and families. His marriage improved quite a bit, just because he was able to have a conversation with his wife and have a clear boundaries of what he's supposed to, how he's supposed to be showing up for his family, and what were her expectations from him as well. Sometimes when communication is disconnected, it's very hard to understand, to know what our partner needs from us. So in order to have smooth relationship, we have to have communication. And for Marcus was very, very hard to speak up at the beginning for himself, because he had learned that in order to be accepted, he need to please others, and he often have done the same pattern in his relationship as well. What else? With the time, his boundaries rapidly start improving. He started having more boundaries, and he actually got very creative of figuring out new boundaries. 6 months later, he's reporting that he's in absolute in a perfect state at work, and great in relationship with family and friends. And people around him has been adjusting, because if you have been a people pleasing for 41 years and all of a sudden you change, it's hard, because everybody around you have expectations. Everybody around you have know that if they call you, you'll be there for them, and you will show up and you will help, or you do whatever they need you to do. But once you change this and you start saying no, then it's uncomfortable for many people at the beginning. But in his case, he actually started enjoying that, because every time when he see the disappointment in other people, this means that he's putting himself first. And it was great to acknowledge that he was able to put himself first, listen to how he feels, what his body needs, what his mind needs, and then go and do for others. Um, and about the guilt, he said that the guilt completely goes away with the moment you start understanding where it comes from. And again, in his case, he became a parent very early on, and it wasn't his job. It wasn't his purpose at that time. He's supposed to be a kid, and that was taken away from him. So he understood, and he let go that guilt, that it wasn't his. It was on his parents. But again, this comes with the understanding, and it's the moment you start seeing with your adult eyes where the strings are coming from and what exactly is preventing you to be the version that you want to show up in life, then things start to change. Here is the trick though. For many people, it's very hard to know what is that version that they want to show up in life. Because I see it lately more and more, many people are just not allowing themselves to dream. Just they don't know how to dream. They don't know how to be um, how to be planning for the future and at the same time staying in the present moment, and what to do with the past. So all of this is supposed to be in sync. We're supposed to honor the past, learn from it, and use it in order to plan for the future. And at the same time, planning for the future, we have to realize that the only moment that we can change something, it's right here and right now. And it's very much depends on what you do, what we're doing now, of how we're going to be showing up in the future. So I really hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions on Marcus' case specifically, or if you want to share any people pleasing that you have overcome, or anything related to it. It's always a pleasure to hear your opinion as well. All right. So for the second half of our call, I want to invite you for a visualization meditation, to simply just enjoy the process and allow me to lead you for the remaining minutes to something that maybe you'll be able to connect as well. Maybe you'll be useful for yourself as well, and see how it's going to resonate with you, what is going to change, how you're going to see um, the words that I'm explaining. I'm going to be explaining how your mind is going to allow you to visualize all of this. All right, so sit back, relax. If you're driving, this is definitely not the right moment to join this visualization. You can come and rewatch the video or hear the visualization again on my YouTube channel. It's Reveal the Mind. And just take your time when you're in a safe place. But for those of you who are sitting right now, make yourself comfortable and just allow the next few minutes to be for yourself. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And again, breathe in And breathe out. And allow this sensation of unwinding to just develop in your body. Your body is relaxing out, allowing every muscle, every nerve to simply relax. You don't have to do anything. You're simply exploring how your body is reacting. To how are you feeling? Is there any tension where in the body? And simply allow yourself to be here and now. Stay connected to your breath and imagine yourself standing in a room with two beings. On your left, standing tall, calm, holding a keyboard. Logic always speaks in facts, always have data, always have reason. And it tells you this is the right thing to do. The evidence are clear and the choice is obvious. That's the logic. On your right side stands emotion, wild, always pushing with unstoppable energy, with blazing eyes. And emotion doesn't speak in words. Emotion speaks in feelings, like fear, longing, anger, love, even fear. So logic presents the case and it says that you know that your ex was the wrong to you, the relationship was toxic, and you were unhappy, and you should not text, text them. This is what logic said. And you know that logic is right. You really not know this. But at the same time, you're right. Emotions search, search forward. allows you to feel it, the ache of loneliness. It floods you with the memory of the good times, the longing for connection, the fear of being alone. Emotions doesn't argue with facts. Emotions are just feeling. And watch what is happening. Your hand all of a sudden reached to your phone. Logistic logic is still thinking that and presenting its evidence and still being right that this is wrong. But emotion is driving your behavior right now. In this battle, emotion always wins, always. Not because the emotion is stronger, but because the emotion is older, deeper, more prominent. Your emotional brain developed long before your logistic brain. It's designed for survival, for connection, for avoiding pain. Logic can tell you what's right, but emotion tells you what to do. Now, for a moment, imagine a different scenario. You're in the same room, logic and emotion are always present together, but this time you don't make them fight. You turn into you turn to the emotion and say, I see you, I feel you, I know you're scared, I know that you're alone, and I understand how the emotion is softening, just little by little. The more you see it, the more you feel it, the more softer it becomes. Then turn around to logic and say, you're right, I know what I need to do. And then you do something very different. You address the emotion. You're honest with yourself and say something like, I'm lonely. But texting my ex won't fix that. It will make it worse. That is exactly what you need at this moment. To be honest with yourself. Feelings. To be real, to stay connected. And all of a sudden, you actually have a better idea. You think that you can call a friend and you can take care of yourself because you allow yourself to see the feeling and watch as emotion and logic come to work together instead of fight. There's no way you can beat emotion with logic, but you can honor emotion and then choose behavior that really serves you, that honors you. And all of a sudden, you see how this battle between emotion and logic ends when you simply stop trying to logic yourself out of feelings, because you simply allow yourself to feel the feelings. You sit with the feelings until you no longer have that urge. And then you can choose your action from a place of love and joy and peace. And notice how your body is feeling. Notice how the tension has been melted away. Reconnect with your breath. And when you're ready, you can simply open your eyes and come back to full awareness, knowing that emotions will be always louder than logic. So you learn to listen to it, to honor it, and then act wisely anyway. Take a deep breath in and come back recharged with awareness. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Never call your ex. I deserve deeper relationship and love. Yes, everybody deserves deeper relationship and love, and we are in control of this. We can the drive, the power is in our hands, and it's all about how we show up, what kind of boundaries we have, and how comfortable we are to say no. Because boundaries start with that full sentence, no. Let me know how this visualization was for you. Were you or were you able to unwind, to relax a little bit? Were you able to see the logic and the feeling the same room with you? Were you allowing it to be together? I hope everybody came back. Let me know. Have you ever noticed battling logic and feelings? And who won? How was this for you? How did the situation ended up? You cannot overcome logic with feelings. It just feelings are always so stronger. That's why the easiest way is to feel the feelings, get to know them, understand where they're coming from, find the root cause if you can. Many times it's something very, very silly, and then go from there. Because the moment we allow our feelings to be seen, to surface up, it's much easier to gain control over ourselves, which is the main idea for all, after all. The hardest part comes from the fact that our logic is developing much later. It's like around 6 7 years old, and until then we operate completely based on emotion. And when we operate based on emotion, feelings are stuck into us much easier and much harder for a very long time, especially if you don't know how to process any feelings. And many of us grew up without knowing how to process feelings. I mentioned this before, but I had a client who came to me and tried to convince me that he has no feelings. We found those feelings, and for first time in 62 years, he was allowing himself to cry just like a kid, because he reconnected himself with those feelings that were stuck in his body and start to cause different issues with his neck, with his head, with his back. So do you have stuck feelings? What those feelings are doing for you? And are you able to communicate in the right way with them? How are you dealing with the fight between the emotion and the logic? Do you have any secrets about dealing with this? Let me know. The chat is very quiet today. That's interesting. So yeah, let me know. We have 10 more minutes, and I'm happy to address any questions you may have related to logic and feelings and emotion and how all of this work. But this is one of the tools that I do use a lot in my practice, that just knowing that the battle between emotions and feelings, emotions and logic, emotion will always win. The logic is just out of the window. It's just the battle. When they start battling together, it's the battle. It's hard, and emotion, it's the winner, no matter what. If we choose to allow the emotion to be seen and to be accepted, Then the script changed a little bit. So let me know what kind of emotions and logical feelings you're dealing with. That was great. Thank you. So helpful. Great, Joe. I'm glad that you find this helpful. Yeah, it's